Hello everyone, it's Vicky Verley here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. We're going to take a look at the full moon eclipse chart happening on September 16th, 2016 at 3:05 p.m. Eastern. Times will vary. I guess it's in a partial eclipse because it's 12 degrees out of the south node. But I'm still going to call it an eclipse. I mean, I go by the Maynard, and the Maynard calls it an eclipse. I'll tell you what, that Aquarius one, they said it wasn't an eclipse, but I definitely had some. I actually even lost a friend who was an Aquarius, so things were eclipsed out of my life for sure on that. But whatever, half a dozen, or 6 of one, half a dozen another. We're gonna look at this chart. So this is a pretty intense chart, though. I'll tell you what. We've got the moon at 24 degrees Pisces, opposed to the sun at 24 degrees Virgo. By that time, Jupiter has already moved out of Virgo and into Libra. That's happening on the 9th. That might be today. Is it today the 9th? I think it might be. Anyways, I haven't looked at it. I like to just be fresh on these readings. I don't like to really look. I never listen to anybody else's forecast either until after I've done mine. I don't want to be influenced in any way. I just want to look at the chart and roll with it. Let it roll, baby. Okay, so here we go. So 24/24 conjunct the moon conjunct Chiron. So all this healing stuff, all this wounded healing stuff is going to be coming up. Square Mars in Sag, 23 degrees Sag. Big T square going on. So this is a lot of intense energy. Mars is intense. Mars can bubble up as anger, resentment. And Chiron is, again, these wounds that we've been just carrying around forever and ever. I think I need to switch glasses. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that. I got like 20 pairs of these plastic reading glasses all over my house. And those are not the ones I like to wear for the computer. Okay, here we go. Much better. Anyways, so, yeah, intensity. Maximum intensity. Mars is getting in there, and I almost feel like it's just lighting the flame, fueling the flame. Agitating things. Because sometimes with Pisces energy, it'll just come and go without a lot of fuss or ado. It's sort of intangible. It's Neptune. Neptune is illusions, dreams, fantasies, spirituality, spirits and angels, and there could be a lot of that going on too. I was just feeling like, yeah, with this Chiron here, that there's going to be visitations happening, from people who are passed on, and you might get a dream, or you get a, smell a flower, one of those kind of deals. If you guys get that, leave it in the comments, because I love to hear about that stuff. But I'm getting that that's going to be the case for a lot of people. A full moon eclipse is eclipsing something out of your life. Hopefully it's going to be the pain and the sorrow you've been hanging on to, the wounds. Could be that. It also is a point of awareness. It shines a light on it. It brings awareness to Piscean type of things. So Neptune, Piscean. I did watch somebody else's reading after I watched this did my last one. And it's the Rasha Light dude. He looks like he could be my long-lost cousin or something. I think we kind of look alike. But anyways, I hadn't really never watched any of his stuff. But he was saying, I always go Neptune's the martyr. And with Chiron, that martyr energy totally emphasized. But it's also the savior. I totally forget that. There's always two sides to everything. There's a positive and negative. There's always these two sides. And yeah, the other side of the martyr is the savior. And I totally had overlooked that. And I want to thank him for pointing that out to me, because that is so significant. And he did it in the form of, he brought up about how religion is. Oh, we're going to have the savior of religion and that. But, we could relate this to a lot of different things, with the Neptune energy. Neptune being the ruler of Pisces, where the full moon is. And it's still conjunct the south node up here. Neptune, south node. Chiron, moon. Bam, 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 bam. Well, Neptune ruling like creativity. I was just thinking about that. And Sag, 9th house of publishing and stuff. Years ago, we needed a savior. We had all these talented people who were writers and musicians and artists, and we needed this savior to get our stuff out there. We had to get signed to a record label, or we had to get published, or that would be our big thing. The savior would come along and discover our stuff, and and bringing it back to, you're the savior. You can self-publish now. You can put your music out there. You know, you don't need a record label necessarily, or a publisher, a big publisher necessarily. I mean, it's still, we're transitioning, and a lot of people will still go that route afterwards. And, you know, after they have a big success, they may go ahead and sign with there's been some big successes in the field of self-publishing through Amazon. And many of them have gone on to sign with big publishers. And again, look, Justin Bieber, you know, he put his stuff up on YouTube. You know, that would totally be the realm of Neptune, you know. And, you know, now look at him now. I'm sure he's signed to some label, or who knows, he could have his own label by now. But, you know, this savior thing, it's going by the wayside. And it's not just in the form of religion, it's all sorts of things. Waiting for somebody else to show you the way, you know. Waiting for someone or something to show you the way, to quote Pink Floyd. You know, blazing your own trail, taking matters into your own hands, doing the homework, getting into that Virgo energy, do that homework, find out how self-publishing works. You know, there's things you got to learn about, or how to copyright your music, or how to, you know, do this or do that, you know, register with ASCAP or BMI, you know. But you don't really need this other entity, this savior over here, to do it for you. And I want to bring that into play here too with this Lilith and Juno thing. I touched on that a little bit last time too. In several ways, how these are uniting the two iconic things of the you know, the feminine icons of the Madonna whore I used the example of last time. It's so funny too, I came across this Bible, an old family Bible, and there were some flowers in the pages, so of course, you know me, I got to look at what are these pages about. Well, the first one's about the witch of Endor, and they're going to stone her to death and do all this stuff. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I was taught. It's so crazy that I would, especially considering my current profession too. But all, you know, that I would come across this just when I was, you know, pondering this polarity. And there's a polarity of opposite, you know, and it's in politics, it's religion, it's all sorts. There's polarity. And in view of women and women things. And well, in this case too, with the Neptune, I've got some family weddings are coming up. I've been going to a lot of weddings. And the savior in that case for the woman has been, you know, the man. I find myself a husband. And your special day, you know, the wedding is. Well, I have always said, you know what, you're special every day. I've never been married, and I've never wanted to be. I just never have wanted to be. And I've been pondering that lately too, with all this wedding stuff coming up. And I always had my comeback line always was, people would say, well, when are you getting married? And my comeback line always was, oh, I'm too young to die. Ha ha ha. You know, that was my standard line that I always came back with. And it was like half a joke, meant to be sort of a joke, but you know, there's probably some truth in that. I probably thought that I would die, or part of me would die if I ever, and you know, if I ever got married, I'd be divorced. If I married any of them, I'd been divorced by now anyway. So, you know, not to dwell on that so much, but these women get all caught up in this, you know. And the savior in that case is going to be the husband. And they're going to live the Neptune dream of happily ever after. You know, so there's that going on too. But the other thing about the feminine and Neptune is all this stuff coming up. I know people get pissed when I bring this up, but I'm going to say it. Bill Cosby is going to trial for one of these, where he drugged the woman and had sex with her. You know, and women having not owning their sexuality, you know, with this Juno, Lilith, and Scorpio here. And then secondly, that dude, and he's from Ohio, that student that got, you know, got the light sentence for raping the girl behind the dumpster when she was drunk and unconscious, right? And, you know, that's horrible, I'm not condoning it, but you think that's the first time that ever happened? At a frat party or whatever, you know? This has been going on forever and ever. Now it's coming to light. Just like Cosby was getting away with this stuff for 30 years, and now it's coming to light. Or he's not the only person to ever slip a girl a Mickey. You know? Or what do they used to call that stuff? Not dragonfly. What was that stuff? It was supposed to make you crazy, or what was it? I don't know. Something about dragonflies or something, and they'd put it in women's drinks. And then, you know, they would be your sex slave or some crazy shit. know, something crazy like that. Spanish fly, that's what it was called, Spanish fly. Yeah, so, you know, that's been going on forever too, but see, this is bubbling up and these big things are coming up through the zeitgeist and coming up through the, you know, it's coming out, you know. And even if the girl was drunk by her own, you know, volition, it's not okay to drag her behind a dumpster and have sex with her without her, you know, consent. So this is all, you know, coming up. And women owning their sexuality in the sign of Scorpio and getting really real about it in Scorpio energy. You know, it's like, let's get real, you know. And you know, this whole, the Neptune energy combining with that, that's bringing this forward and bringing this, you know, out. Now, Saturn is not squaring the full moon, but it's still squaring the Neptune and the nodes in that. And that, again, brings into this patriarchal society that anybody would think that they would have the right to do that. The right to, well, she was wasted, so I just, you know, whatever. Or, you know, because I'm so big and powerful, you're going to have sex with me because I'm powerful. I'm not just Cosby on this case. I'm talking about anybody. And people who, back to the record companies and stuff, you know, or the movie studios, or, you know, how many, what do they call that, the casting couch, right? Well, okay, yeah, we'll give you the part in the movie, but, you know, you're going to have to perform some sexual favors for me in exchange for that, because I'm the man here. I'm Saturn. I'm the establishment. I have all the power. Well, this is all breaking down with this Neptune. It's breaking down big time, right? But Saturn is not involved in the T-square, but it's with the nodes. It's with the South Node in Neptune and North Node in Virgo, but it's also in the same degree with this Lilith, you know, this male, traditionally male and traditional female roles in our society and in our world. These are getting shaken up in a big way, and I brought up the transgender, that people got pissed about that too. But it's happening, you know. And Neptune, you can't just hide it or not, you know, deny it or dream it away. Now Mercury, that was the other thing I wanted to get involved in. Mercury's kind of in both of these T-squares, because it's 5 degrees out of the Saturn T-square with the nodes and Neptune, and it's also, just 7 degrees out of the eclipse. So Mercury's in there. And then Mercury is, like we were saying, you know, how does it all work? You got to get in there and figure out how it all works. So what papers do I have to file, or what information do I need, or what forms do I have to fill out? But Mercury is also how we wrap our heads around things. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, where the sun is still in Virgo, opposing all this. Mercury is, what was else I going to say about it? Well, I can't, it totally left me. I got a bunch of stuff at once and it totally went right out of my head again. Mercury is how we think about it, how we speak about it, how our words are, our mental capacity. In Virgo, hard work and effort. Oh, it's just not, can't grab it again, it's gone. There was a point, maybe it'll come back later. Let's move on to this, because Jupiter's moved into Libra. Now, Jupiter has been in Virgo for the past year with the node and all this stuff, you know, and it's been activated. Now, with Libra, it's a different vibe, really different vibe. It's air, it's mental, it's beauty, it's lighter, it's lighthearted. You know, I would say of all the zodiac signs, too, that Libras are the most tactful. You know, tact and diplomacy, charming. They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, these are the kind of things where, you know, that's coming into play when we're dealing with all this aggression, polarity, aggression. Libra doesn't like polarity. Libra wants the scales balanced. Libra wants things in balance and harmony. It's ruled by Venus, and Venus is in there too, not conjunct, way out, 20 degrees. But it's kind of cool how Venus is showing up there to kind of welcome or help usher in Jupiter into her home sign over here. It's about partnerships. It's the 7th house. It rules partnerships, marriage, cooperation. Cooperation, being part of a team. You know, give and take, making concessions, being nice about it. You don't have to you don't have to come off all angry. And Scorpio, you know, that vibe's there too. You know, it's not always just Mars. Mars used to be the ruler of Scorpio before Pluto. So, you know, there's been this real aggressive energy. You know, it's been very aggressive. Not that Virgos are particularly aggressive, but Jupiter being there is, you know, it's that forest for the trees thing too. It's made everything really, you know, sometimes it's just like, let it be. You know, let it be. Virgo's like, well, wait a minute. Let me verify that on the internet. Are you sure that this was this? And blah, 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 blah. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to tell you blah, 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 blah. Always going. Always going, going, going. Energize her bodies, right? And Libra's like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But maybe does it really matter? I'm just going to be nice to keep the peace. You know, about keeping the peace is big energy of Jupiter and Libra, I feel. And not being so... well, yeah, they said this, but in 1972, this, I found it, you know, and all this little nonsense, you know. Maybe I shouldn't have said nonsense. I don't want to keep having to check myself, you know. I try not to really express my opinion too strong, just read the chart, but sometimes it just flies out, you know. But Libra, you know, that's right what we're talking about here. Jupiter and Libra. Think before you speak, you know. Are you going to hurt somebody's feelings by saying that? Is it kind? Can you speak your mind and express your opinions in a way that's not harsh and going to hurt people? You know, that's a big one with this Jupiter and Libra. Great time for arts. Great time for the arts. Great time for peace. For things to be in balance. Where everybody gets some of what they want. You know, you can't always get what you want, get what you need. And this polarity, these oppositions that we've been going through, you know, this is like, well, I want it my way, I want it my way. And you know, I'm going to fight you, blah, blah, blah. All this really harsh, really gnarly energy, right? And this is some smoother, kinder, gentler, peaceful, happy, like being happy about the little things in life. Yeah, it's not perfect. Overlooking imperfections, overlooking flaws. We're all flawed. You know, if you dig long enough, you find something on anybody about anything. You know, you're all flawed. We're all messed up. We're all screwed up. What the hell? Chiron, all our wounds. You know, we're all screwed up. So, I was just hearing that song, Have a Little Faith in Me, but really I was trying to say, have a little compassion, cut people a little slack, you know. Don't be so harsh. Be kind. Kindness. That's a good one. That's a big word here, kindness. Let's have an expression of kindness. You don't have to agree with everybody, you know. And you never will. There's never one person. You're never going to meet anybody in this world that you're going to agree with on every single thing. But you know, you don't have to like tear them to shreds and go crazy, and you know, do all this you know, go nuts about it and blow it way out of proportion and exaggerate it to be this huge thing when really maybe it's just something real lighthearted that you can just let it go. And does it really matter all that much? I don't know. The other thing that's at that degree here is the 24 degree, where the full moon eclipse, partial eclipse, whatever is happening, is Uranus is at that degree of that 23 with the Mars, trining the Mars. Well, you know, and I know it's conjunct, is it Nessus or something? That's going to be an ongoing thing, and that's intensity too. Nessus is sort of Lilith-ish, I would say, even, you know. Well, it gets the bad rap of being the shrew, the evil woman, the whore, whatever, you know, all that good stuff. The witch, meaning it in a bad way, like the witch of Endora, who gets stoned or whatever happened to her. And not stoned in a good way either. Not that kind of stoned. But back to this. Yeah, so. But Uranus trine Mars. How can we get out of this aggressiveness? How can we release this aggressive energy, this wanting to battle, wanting to fight, wanting to be aggressive? Uranus says we got to do it in new ways. Uranus is all about the new, the new, the new. It's the new inventions. It says the old way will not work, especially in Aries. Talk about new, new, new. You know, that's new. That's some new energy. So we got to think of new ways to deal with it. You know, this is like banging your head against the wall. How's it working out for you? You know, we've been banging our head against the wall here for a couple thousand years now, and we're not really getting all that far. We're getting, you know, baby steps, you know, and even with like new technology with Virgo too here with the health. You know, they fought stem cells forever. Oh, we gotta, you know, stem cells is evil, blah, blah, blah. Now we know, come on. You know, we have to fight against, fight to progress. There's opposition to wanting to progress and wanting to move forward. I mean, the technology and the tech toys, you know, they're coming out with the new iPhone, so everybody's excited about that. You know, I'm an Android girl, and I barely even use the darn thing anyway. I really do still have a landline. But anyhow, you know, everybody getting all excited, but I think that's like helping propel us towards the future. Helping us to get away from, well, the tradition for this many years has been like this, and we got a time-honored tradition. No, I want the new next thing. I can't wait for the new next thing. But again, it's like they go crazy for it. So it's like, you know, and maybe are some good things in those time-honored traditions. You don't have to just throw everything out, you know. And that's where the Jupiter and Libra is going to come in real nice. And it's right now it's in with Venus and Libra's in there, so it's relevant. It's making an aspect, you know, to finding that balance. Yeah, we want to embrace the new things. Yeah, we want to develop new life-saving health things and new life for the environment and health and all the stuff over here in 6th house Virgo rules. But we want to do, there are some good things that we could move forward with. You know, really, a lot of the things are old things, you know, like crop rotations and, you know, you plant certain plants by these plants and organic gardening before they ever developed, you know, pesticides. I've been an organic gardener forever. You know, since I became an adult, I've always been an organic gardener. So these are really old things that can be made new again. Or we find the wisdom in the old things, you know, the simpler. And that's, you know, all that, the herbal, homeopathy. Not that the new things don't have a place, you know. If I broke a bone, I want to get an x-ray, you know. I mean, we want to use this, or I might need an MRI, or, you know, use something. You definitely want this new, too. So it's balance. It's not like my old way is right, and you're evil. You're the evil witch, whore, whatever. And, you know, marriage, you know, enslavement, marriage, whatever you want to call it. I know I shouldn't, that's not even a joke. But, I mean, that's really what I always saw it as, to be real. You know, you put this ring on like they own you or something, and I was always like, oh, I can't do that. I just could never do it. And I'm not putting you down if that's your big day and that's what you've been looking for, dreaming about your whole life. Not me. It's not me. And it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make me wrong. You got, you know, Uranus and Aries too is what's right for the individual, you know. And that was just never anything that I was dreamt about or wanted. As I said, I used to say I'm too young to die, so I definitely was not thinking about, dreaming about it at all. You know, it was never anything I want. But many people are, and not to say that marriage is a bad thing for, you know, many people are married, and it's, you know, and that's, but again, we can bring in the new, you know, the new kind of things. You know, many people have had great loving relationships, been married for many years, and I have so much respect for that. You know, I really do. I'm not trying to knock you for that in any way. I'm just saying that that's never been anything that I thought about doing. And I should have the respect of that too. You know, I shouldn't try to be shamed, or, you know, I'm dreading going to this family thing because I know I'm going to hear about it. You know, why aren't you married? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, da, da, da. You know, no, don't pity me. Don't cry for me. I'm happy with my choices. And like I said, if I'd married any of them, I'd have been divorced by now. So I don't know that it was the wrong thing. But again, I don't want to get off on this. Sorry, I keep going back to that. I'm just, you know, got this family gathering stuff rolling around in my brain. The other thing that's going on with these teen degrees here is Pluto's been there. Pluto and Juno are sextiling, you know, exact. And Pluto, ruler of Scorpio, you know, upheaval, change. And Juno is like Susie Sunshine, you know. You know, Juno's Miss Susie Sunshine over here, and then there's Lilith. Lilith is like the goth chick. Right? Lilith is the goth chick, and Juno's Susie Sunshine over here, or Mary Sunshine, or whoever, you know. So that's going on. And in the sign of Scorpio, Pluto's making aspects to it. The nodes and all this stuff are making aspects to it. So we really got to change that. You know, we really got to change that. And Lilith in Scorpio is the empowered woman. And there's a lot of fear around the empowered woman. Especially a woman who's empowered about her sexuality, I think, you know. That seems to be still a source of, you know, shame and bad, you know. There's a lot of weird energy still going around that. And Scorpio wanting that, you know, like the deep, it's like this deep, dark, something bad, you know. I don't know. But that's changing. That's totally changing here. Okay, sorry I'm rattling on about marriage stuff. It's been on my brain here lately. What's going on here? We got Ceres is Jupiter square coming up to square Ceres. So Ceres being the goddess of the grain, it always does seem to involve food and stuff like that. And we got to find a balance around that. Now you could bring that down to Earth, down to earthly level here, and just talk about balanced diet. And with Virgo stuff going on still, the node in Virgo, great time to, you know, get a more balanced diet. What I was just talking about before, about rotating the crops and all this stuff, and, you know, balance that, to have the harvest, you know. But with the square, action is taken. It's not a harmonious necessarily, it's not a trine, you know. Squares make things happen. So how we, and Ceres in Taurus even more so, well, forget about that, Taurus could be food, you know, how we treat animals, you know, how we treat animals that we eat, meat for meat eaters. So, you know, that could be coming to light here too. The other thing is, trining the new moon is Vesta in Cancer here. 20 degrees, 24 degrees. So we got a trine, a water trine, not quite a grand trine, but a water trine with the full moon eclipse, partial eclipse, and Vesta. Well, you know, the first thing you think of a Vesta, it's the home and the hearth of that, but I always think of Vestal virgins, right? And that's totally tying in with everything I was saying about, you know, the sexuality, and you got to be a virgin when you get married, and all that crazy stuff. Well, maybe not crazy, but all that old paradigm stuff, you know, and it's motherhood too. It has to do now with the Chiron trining. It could be your own mother, or the women in your family for sure, right? The traditions of the women in your family, how you were, the line of women that you came through, and what they had to endure. Again, the good things they taught you, but also their old beliefs, but comes from the time they lived in and the patriarchal society for which they were brought up in. So there's just a lot here. There's really a lot here, a lot going on. But the biggest thing, I think, is these illusions. We're going to have awareness about our illusions, if we will allow that in, if we're open enough to allow that in. And you could see how you've been polarized and have a broader perspective and a wider angle view of the whole thing. And I do feel very strong that many people could be getting messages from Spirit at that time about maybe even people who wounded you very badly in life. And you could get like a message like, I'm sorry, or I love you, or whatever. And it might even be, for a lot of people, mothers, grandmothers, females, but it's not limited to that at all. Okay, hey everybody, I got my new website's up. I don't know if I mentioned that last time, but go ahead, and it's just Vicky Verley. You can catch it up on the eye in the sky in the corner. It's got everything home about books, decks, videos, music, art, mandalas, readings, donate, contact. And if you scroll down on any page over in the widget section, there is the animal totem card of the day. It changes at a weird time, somewhere in the early evening, 5 or 6 o'clock. But if you check it every day, like if you check it every day in the morning, it'll be, every 24 hours there will be a different card up there. But it was hard to get that thing to work right, and it's working, and I'm leaving it alone now. And I want to tell you guys, the readings, I I have a new reading that I'm offering in the video readings. It's pretty cool. It's this. It's called a candle reading. And it'll be a video reading. I'll kind of do it off camera while I'm saying your name and tuning into you. And then I'll go over the picture with you. We'll look at it from all 4 angles. I have some pulled up here, don't I? Yeah. This is the first one. This actually, I didn't think of this. This was a lady that I used to work the psychic fairs used to do them. She called them candle readings. I've not been able to find it anywhere. But you move the paper around on the candle flame, and it burns. It's like makes an ashes, almost kind of like tea leaves in a way, but cool. So this is the first one that I did for me, and I saw like other people sitting at the table, which kind of freaked me out. I felt like this was me, and there was other people sitting at the table, and I see a duck in there, and I see, you know, there's a bunch of crap in here. But the funny thing that happened is after my friend passed, when I initially did this, I didn't see this person. I saw that everybody was looking in on the table, like say this is the table. But then after my friend passed, this looks like this one's leaving out, like she's, doesn't it? Like she's transit. So this is what's cool about these readings, because it'll change and it'll look like different things at different times. I had a few that my friend from the fairs years ago, and I used to pull them out and look at them, and I'd always see different stuff. And I showed these to a few other people. Like my cousin's daughter thought that these were people surrounding and helping the world. Like this was, they were people around the world joining together, which I thought that was really cool. And you know, you have to turn it to like look at it. You should, you know, look at it. Will that work? Yeah, you look at it from this way, and then I saw a dolphin here, all sorts of stuff. But I don't want to, so I'll look at it with you 4 ways, and then I'll send you the JPEG, and you'll have a video of me like doing it and looking at it. This is the one I did for my cousin, and when I first did it for her, I saw all these little tendrils coming up, like they were maybe the insides of the flower, you know, those little things. But then, of course, they turned into people. We were seeing all sorts of stuff in here. I see a gorilla. There's 2 eyes and the nose coming here and then the mouth. And she said, yeah, she's got a thing for gorillas, and she was born the year of the monkey. And I also saw Aries symbol, and her daughter's an Aries, and all sorts of stuff. And then I also saw later when I came, see, you come back to it and you see different things. That's what's so cool. And these are like some head and hands reaching down to pick something up here. And then she saw, let me see, I'll turn it one time. Yeah, I saw this, she likes alpacas. I thought this is an alpaca. And then she saw it as a dragon, like she was riding on a dragon. So, I mean, it keeps changing every time you look at it. So it's a really cool thing. I wanted to go one more. I did this one for my uncle. And he was kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know. And I go, well, what do you see? He goes, I see a dog. Like, it's not an ink blot. You don't just look at it and see one thing. So, and then I'm just like, well, maybe there's some other things there. I don't know. Because here's his dog, the nose, the eye, and the floppy ear, right? And I'm like, well, there's other things in there. Take a look. He's going, oh, no, I just see a dog. You know, he didn't want to go with. And I'm going, well, I see these men are carrying this other body over here, like somebody laying sideways. And I go, and I think this guy looks like a priest to me because of the robe. He's going, oh my God. I go, were you in the service? Because I knew he was in the service, but I never knew this. He was a medic in the service. And he did work with the chaplain. And I felt like this guy was the guy who was, they were helping, like carrying to wherever, to safety, to work on, that he was saying thank you to my uncle, like, thank you for being there when I died. And then my uncle was just like, oh yeah, oh wait, I see this, I see that, I see this. Then he starts seeing all sorts of stuff. He's going, let me see yours again. He starts looking at mine. He starts seeing all sorts of stuff. So once you get past that initial, oh, I see a dog, end of story, there's all sorts of cool stuff in there. And again, if you turn it each way and you start seeing all sorts of really, really cool stuff, And we were having a good time, like, looking through them and going through them all. Roll hers a few different ways. See, it looks different each way. So that's the new reading, and it's kind of fun and cool. Nobody's doing it, so it's going to be a fun, cool thing. And again, here's my site. Be sure to check it out if you have time. Up the eye in the sky. Back to this chart. I should be able to just collapse this, and the chart's there. Yay, it worked. All right, everybody. Full moon, partial eclipse in Pisces. So I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but it's the ending, and in Pisces it's always even more so of an ending. Because Pisces is the last degree, the last sign of the whole entire zodiac. And it's in the last few degrees here, 24 degrees. And also, this is stuff that's old stuff. This is the final chapter for a lot, should be the final chapter for a lot of things. There's a lot to think about, and it can relate it on a global scale or, Western world scale, but you can also relate it down into your regular life. A lot of Mars pent-up energy could be floating around here. A lot of aggression, anger. Take the Libra approach. Let it roll off your back. Be lighthearted. Be understanding. Try to be more, don't take it too serious. Don't take it so serious. Okay, everyone. And the other thing, I'm hoping I've got a new divination deck. It's sort of a deck. It's going to be coming out. I'm just about done with it. I need to get it like prototype in the retrograde. I'm hoping to debut it with the October readings, as long as it gets printed and sent to me on time. So that's another big thing I got coming up. But hey, everyone, thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, donating, all the things you do to help me and the channel. It's so appreciated. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate. Be kind to one another with Jupiter and Libra. Have a great eclipse, partial eclipse, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye.